Hello and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I'm your host, the Nerd Man, and today I'm here with JG Shaolin Terrific, and we're doing a response to Jody's Corner's Snyder Cut spoiler review. We have a lot that we kind of disagree with him on, some that we actually agree with him on as well. But it's worth a discussion because I think there's a lot of things that are being exaggerated in terms of the movie. So should we go straight into it?
Let's do
this
it.
is our part 3. Please, you have a look at our part 1 or part 1 and 2. All right, let's go.
The heat vision, and then I was enough. And then threw him, and he was bloody.
He was done. He would have killed them.
In Zach's version, he punched him, heat vision, his horn off,
Kept punching,
and then kept punching. And I'm like, dang. And then Wonder was looking at him go to work. I'm thinking that Wonder was gonna be like, Cal, no more. That's enough.
Right.
But nah, she was like, all right, finish that nigga
He
then.
finished. Damn. He keep getting beat. I figured that nigga would never die.
I'll say that they were not the Justice League to me. They were not heroic at all in that.
They weren't. They
final.
weren't heroic.
Murderers, bro. They freaking executed Steppenwolf, bro.
They did.
It's. I understand some people think that's cool. Zach will think that's cool, but Superman partaking in that beatdown like that of Steppenwolf, and then throwing him off to the lamps to get his head beheaded, and then Darkseid stepped on this man's head. That was tight. I just feel like the Justice League wouldn't do it. They wouldn't move like that. And that's the biggest problem I have with Snyder's universe, bro. None of these characters are the League I know.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like Superman came and showed elements. Wonder Woman has elements. Flash completely left field. You shouldn't even be in here anyway. It should be Manhunter.
A bunch of niggas don't.
And that Aquaman, bro. That the Aquaman is definitely lacking. That Batman, absolutely garbage. Batman was trash in this.
Batman was trash.
Batman was trash in this movie.
He was.
And I'm shocked because Zach loves Batman.
Yeah, I thought the Batman scene that was Whedon. I thought that was Zach, but no, I guess not. The opening scene with the fear and all that. I thought that was Snyder.
Right.
Yeah. So,
bro,
but Batman
that
was
slow sidekick. That slow sidekick.
I
we
can't
swore
believe
was
he was
a reshoot.
doing damage to these parademons. I still don't understand that.
That parademon was working that boy Batman in that goddamn tunnel thing.
He was, but
Batman was whack.
But
bro.
he was doing damage.
He didn't show no martial arts. Where was it?
He was fight. I couldn't believe he was doing damage to these parademons though. He was like,
All right, what do you make of that? So they weren't heroic. I agree that they weren't heroic in that last 2 minutes, but like there was a couple of things. So it says they weren't heroic in the last scene. That he doesn't recognize the characters as the characters in this movie, not in Batman v Superman or Man of Steel, but in this movie he doesn't recognize the characters as the characters, and the Flash is all left field, and that Batman is whack in the movie.
Well, I think Zach was going for an Injustice style of Justice League.
I don't think so. In this movie,
you don't think so? I think so. I think so. I think he was going very lethal, deadly Injustice style.
I think he was in the last 5, like the
that's what I'm talking about.
The nightmare scene, but like just talking about before the nightmare scene, right? So the main body of the movie, were the Justice League heroic or not?
They were heroic until all that killing.
Right.
So you take the killing out of it, yes, they were heroic.
Exactly. That's my exact opinion. So looking at Cyborg was definitely heroic with that woman. That was probably the most heroic scene we've seen in any Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
Like the most selfless thing where Cyborg basically gave that woman $100,000 to look after her family. Right.
Yeah, like to me, Cyborg was heroic before he even became Cyborg. When he helped that girl who was having issues. I mean, some people would say, hey, you're cheating. She's cheating by like letting it happen. But at the same time, it's like, dude, like his mom said, she's going through all these things. She couldn't afford to flunk out of school. So that's why he did it.
Right, exactly. And I got the impression that the mother, she was just defending her son, right? But that she probably would tell him, like, personally between the two of them. Like, that's wrong. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But she's just defending her son to the principal. That, and I thought the mum was really, really good in this. Silas Stone, and I don't know what the mother's first name is, but Mrs. Stone, or whatever you want to call her.
Yeah.
Cyborg's mother. So I thought that was good. But Cyborg was super heroic in this.
I believe so, yeah.
The Flash obviously saved Iris West, like, even before anything even went down, right?
Yeah.
So he did that completely selflessly. Wonder Woman went and saved those children in the bank. Okay, she killed them at the end. I didn't like that. So that wasn't good. Superman was like, they brought me back for a reason. I have to go off and, for once, like, I've not seen Superman act like that in Batman v Superman or in Man of Steel. He never once was like, oh, I've got to go and do this. It's always somebody telling him, like, like Jor-El would tell him, oh, you can save the people. You go and save them. Go and save her. This was the first time Superman was like, Mom, I know you've just got me back, but I've got to go off to a mission that I might not come back from, even though you've just got me for the 5 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go. They brought me back for a reason. I have to go be a hero. That is the Superman I know, and that was, to me, like, the heroic spirit. So I think the heroic spirit of the characters was more in this than any movie I've ever seen them with Zack Snyder. I mean,
well, I agree that, like, say, individually, yes, they did a lot of heroic acts individually.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is, I don't know about Batman. He was kind of on, like, I don't know what his thing was, but all the other characters, they did selfless acts individually, right?
Yeah. Whereas
as far as a team, I think Joss's version was more heroic. As a team.
That's interesting. How? Tell me what makes you say that?
Well, like I said, the dynamic was a lot better as far as a team dynamic. Like I said, I think Zach's individual characters were a lot better. But as far as a team, still know my words.
But what made them more heroic? I don't understand. Like, what made them more heroic?
Like I said,
apart from not killing.
Okay. Far from not killing, I can't really make that case. But that's
okay, sorry. So it was the killing.
Yeah, because like I said, in Zach's version, you take away the killing, they were heroic.
Right, exactly. That's the only problem I have with how they acted in this movie. I think the Flash. What about that? He says he doesn't recognize the characters in this movie. I think this is the first time we saw Superman, like in Zack Snyder's universe.
I wish he had I don't know if he did. I wish he had elaborated on that a little more. Because I've always said, there's so many adaptations of these characters, each having different kind of values. Some of the cores change here and there. You see Superman is kind of lethal in some adaptations. He's very...
In most of them, he is.
Boy Scout.
In 90% of them. And in people's... I would say, if you look at people's favorite interpretations of Superman, he doesn't kill. Like, if you look at the best selling comics of his animated series, his animated movies, in all of those interpretations that are like the ones that people gravitate towards, I think he doesn't kill. So that's I would say that's core to his character. And I don't like him killing. But what I did like about this film, I swear, in 2 minutes, he made me warm to Superman more in 2 minutes of this film, after he'd gone crazy and was fighting the Justice League. When he got to the farm and was just talking to Lois, he was like, oh, I love the world. I love this. I love growing up here. I was happy here, like, he's smiling, he's hugging his mom and smiling, he was just a warmer character than I've ever seen in any of in the other Zack Snyder movies. He was just like, on the phone, why did Dad never leave Kansas? No one, Superman was never real. People can die. It was just always. I didn't mind Superman doubting himself in Man of Steel and in BVS, but there was nothing of the opposite side, nothing of the warm, optimistic side to kind of balance that out.
Yeah. Well, for me, Man of Steel was, and I do agree with Joe when he says it's not really a Superman film, because to me, as I'm looking at it, okay, he's not yet Superman yet.
Okay.
He's on the cusp of becoming a Superman, but he's not Superman yet, because you see Jor-El kind of telling him, hey, be that savior, be that guy. But in the back of the mind, because
which
the father
Jor-El should be doing, but
yeah.
he should already have felt like that from his teaching from Park Kent. Well, Jor-El has always been like, it's like basically the Kents nurture the goodness in Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jor-El is just like the revelation of, so I've got this heritage and I'm special. And I should do something with these abilities. Do you know what I mean? But the good nature of himself, like his good nature comes from Ma and Pa Kent, his selflessness, is willing to do charity, is willing to do, like good stuff. Like they don't, Ma and Pa Kent don't like suggest to him like, put on a cape and expose yourself to the world, but they just say, hey, if you can help someone out, help them out. Don't ever leave someone like stranded there if you've got the power to do something about it. But they don't come up with the idea like, put on a cape and fly around and be Superman. That more comes from Jor-El, where it's like, I find my Kryptonian heritage. I see,
and that might
that's what I think was lacking in Man of Steel. Sorry, wasn't lacking here.
And I'm to piggyback on what you said. That was a problem with Man of Steel, because the Ma Kent and Pa Kent you see in Zack Snyder's Justice League, when Clark says, "Hey, I got to go do this," and Ma Kent just go do it, son. You got to do what you got to do. Pa Kent, before he hits that first flight, I'm sure Joe's going to talk about it. He hears both his fathers saying, "Go for it, do it." That's what we should have gotten in Man of Steel.
Yeah, and it could have been the same film, exactly the same film, just with that, and I think it would have been 10 times better.
Exactly. But what we got was Mom, Pa Kent in Man of Steel saying, "Don't do this. Stay reclusive. Don't be involved. Don't do this and don't do that." So when you hear Jor-El tell you, "This is why you were sent here. This is what you're supposed to do," is that conflict, right? That mental conflict they had in Man of Steel. But like you said, like this Superman we see in Zack Snyder's Justice League, to me, was Superman.
Yeah.
The guy I got to do what I have to do.
Do you know what I feel the conflict should have been in Man of Steel? It shouldn't have been whether he should be Superman or whether he should be heroic. It should be whether he can take on these Kryptonians. Like, these are 3 Kryptonians. These are 3 guys as powerful as me. And I've got to save the world on my first day. Ever really like using my powers in this kind of way. That's what I think he should have had doubts about, to humanize him, not doubts that he should try and do it, but that if he could do it, if he's going to fail. And that's where Jor-El should have been taking him over the edge. Like, no, of course you can, son. You can do this,
And to be honest, that's when I would have brought in Martian Manhunter in Man of Steel. As Martian Manhunter. I would have brought him in.
I don't blame them for not doing that. That's a big, commitment, like to bring in Martian Manhunter into that movie. That would have been a massive commitment. I would have done it as well. You're right, but I don't blame them for not doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think the main issue was just like getting the parents, getting Ma and Pa Kent right, and having him have his doubts, but that Ma and Pa Kent are always encouraging him not to be a superhero, just to go out in the world, discover the world, Clark, see what it's like, see how human beings live all over the world. You can do anything you want. That's what I think the encouragement should have been, not like, oh, go and expose yourself as an alien. I think that's what people are like thinking that people who dislike Man of Steel are trying to say. Obviously, you don't tell Clark, like, maybe let kids die. Clearly, you don't do that. But you say, Clark, you've got to be more careful the way you do it. Like, there was millions of ways he could have saved those kids without, without lifting a bus up through the. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have. Like, that's what he should have done. He should have been like, look, let me train you to use your powers where you don't have to like expose yourself. You didn't have to like lift the whole bus up through the ground and done some miracle thing. You could have like saved them low key.
And plus, they could have used his super speed to, if he's going to lose the bus, use super speed, push the bus, get back in the bus. They wouldn't have been able to see it.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
Yeah. But he's just sitting there holding the bus and looking like, dude, think, man, think. So, I mean, it's a lot of problems. Even though I love Man of Steel, there's a lot of problems with it. I have to admit that. As far as Aquaman is, to the casual thing. Go ahead.
Let's stay with this. So, we've dealt with the Superman. So, do you agree with me that Superman, like, basically in this Justice League, it was substantially different, especially the way he's interacting with his parents, his drive to be heroic is more there than in like Batman v Superman and Man of Steel.
Yeah, I think that from the cornfield on, that was our Superman.
Yeah,
that's what Henry Cavill should have been in Man of Steel.
That's what Henry Cavill should have been in Man of Steel. Right, exactly. All right. So now, Batman. He was talking about Batman.
And to me, because this
just did this Justice League movie. Maybe in comparison with, you can compare it to Joss Whedon's one.
So my idea of Batman, the way he should be, which I think Joss may have done it slightly better, was you're dealing with Steppenwolf, you're dealing with these parademons. You're kind of out of your element in a way.
Yeah.
As far as Zack's vision, you're kind of out of your element. How can you compete, or what can you do when you have Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Superman, of course, later on, but say those three characters you have already, and Cyborg. What can you add to that dynamic of these superpower characters?
Yeah.
Be the tactician, be the strategist. Hey, Wonder Woman, do this. Hey, Cyborg, do this, do that, right? To me, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, he was damn near, I want to use the word useless, but I didn't see his purpose other than bringing the group together.
Well, I like the whole element of him having faith. Like, I've got faith in this team, I've got faith now, I've put this team together, Superman should have never died at the end of Batman v Superman, so that's a big problem, right? But since they did that, I think the faith element, like that he realized what he'd done was wrong, and like he was like trying to make up for it. I like that element of Batman in this. I liked his dynamic between him and Alfred. I thought that was really good. I thought Jeremy Irons was really strong. My only issue, I think, that would have made Batman more tight in this is more gadgets. Give him some gadgets to take out the parademons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he should have been more of a tactician. Like, hey, I don't have powers, but I got skills. Right? I've been Batman for a long time. I got all these gadgets, and all he really used was a tank, a plane, and whatever the other thing was. I mean, I didn't see his purpose in it.
Yeah.
Besides bringing the team together, I didn't see any purpose for him. I do agree. I love Jeremy Irons, his Alfred, to serve as the mentor that Alfred's supposed to be for Batman. I love that. I love that relationship. But yeah, Batman. I think I like Whedon's Batman better, only because he's did more Batman stuff in Whedon's.
I don't know that he did though. I thought he was pretty useless in Whedon's cut as well. That's what I'm saying. I don't really see like the substantial difference in terms of his fighting, but in terms of his leadership here, I thought his leadership was quite good. The only thing I would say that like made him stand out in Whedon's cut was just that he had more conflict with the rest of the team about resurrecting Superman. That's the only substantial difference. I don't see how he was fighting better, or he wasn't doing any fighting that was better in this than in Josh. And in Josh, he just came across as like, oh, I'm just gonna sacrifice myself. That's what I'm gonna add to this fight at the end. Is me sacrificing myself. And then I didn't like him using the energy weapons, the laser guns. I think he should have used his own gadgets to take out the parademons.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that he was equally useless in both films. I just liked him better in the Justice version.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. Now, I don't know if I like I didn't like the Wonder Woman Batman scene where he was like that combative dialogue. I didn't like that too much. But other than that, I mean, I just like him.
It's kind of like Batman, though. That was kind of like a Batman-y thing to do. Like he can be a bit of an asshole, Like that's what I thought was cool about his dynamic in Justice League. That he was a bit
Zack's version or Josh's
version.
Josh's version.
Yeah, like he was a little bit like like I'm going to be a bit of an arsehole. I'm going to bring up Steve Trevor to say like, where have you been, kind of thing. I thought that worked a little bit better, like just a little bit of conflict,
Well, I don't see Batman as losing control like that to do that. I just don't see Batman that way. Because you're like, how old is he now? About maybe his 40s, maybe.
Yeah.
You've been Batman this long. You know how to control yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
And that's why I think he had more control in Justice as a character, but I think I liked him better. It's just they both stuck equally in both films to me. I just like Justice version better.
Yeah, but again, my thing is that I just think the story worked better in Zack Snyder's film. That's what I mean. Like
I do agree.
The whole it just worked better, and with him, talking about like how he has faith in the team, and that's what really he understands that in terms of like taking this Steppenwolf off, that's what he needs. He needs like these superpowered gods together to really help him defeat this guy. But yeah, you're right. I think they could have done Batman better, but that goes across all kind of things with Justice League. Like even in the animated series, I was often like, what is Batman doing here? Or some of the animated cartoons, it's just like, I remember like watching, I don't know if you've ever seen Justice League Doom.
I vaguely remember it.
Oh, okay. Well, in the beginning of Justice League Doom, he's taking on the, what was they called? They're like the Queen, Jack, King, Ace, like the card team. Like and he's taking them on, and he's like really struggling with them, and I'm like, they're low level. Batman should be able to like handle those guys almost by himself, and he had to like wait for the Justice League to basically save him. From those guys. So it's always been like that with him, where he really comes in at the end, and he's the one who does that, outthinks the guys, but for the main body of the movie, he's human, so he can't really do as much as Superman and Wonder Woman and Flash and stuff. So, but yeah, you're right. They needed to give him a moment, like a real cool moment in this movie.
And I'll tell you a moment Josh did when they were trying to save the people when they first meet Steppenwolf, and he tells in the Flash like, "Hey, never been a fight. All I do is push people and run away." You know, I didn't like that line. I do love the fact that Batman kind of encouraged him like, "Hey, save one person, just save one."
I don't know if you remember. I mean, it's really weird. I liked it much better in Zack Snyder's cut, like the way the way the Flash just came in and like, you know, he was like, "You're not. This isn't what we planned." You know, like we planned to do this together, and then he did that Flash speech.
I like Flash a whole lot better than Zack's version, but I mean, as far as Batman, his leadership, encouragement, stuff like that, I saw elements of that in Joss's version a lot more than Batman just saying, "I have faith in these people. I have faith in these people."
Yeah. You're right.
More so him just saying, "Okay, I have faith. You guys do that. I'll just sit back." And when it's open,
well, he didn't sit back. To be fair, like he went in with the Batmobile and did all of that shit. Like, you know.
Okay.
That was pretty epic with the Batmobile scene.
Oh yeah, I do agree with that.
You know, so
but that's him using his tools. Nothing. That's him using his tools, you know, because he doesn't have powers. But I do have a Batmobile. I have this. Let me use it.
And one thing I have to say is that we should remember when criticizing Zack Snyder's movie is that Justice League shouldn't exist. You know, so it's kind of like weird, like saying, you know, the scenes that we saw of Batman didn't seem as epic because we already saw them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So if you had a scene that fresh, like with the Batmobile scene, and him using the hangar to get through the defenses of Steppenwolf, that would have been epic. That would have been an epic Batman scene, but we'd seen it already. Yeah. So we're almost mentally discounting anything we've already seen in Justice League, and we're like, oh, where's Batman going to be more hype than he was? But he was hype. But we're like, do you know what I mean? It's like you want to see that extra scene, like, oh shit, like what did he do extra in this version that makes him more badass than the Justice League? But those scenes were Zack Snyder's scenes in the Justice League, that, you know, with the Batmobile and with him breaking through the defenses, and that was important. They needed to break through the defenses of Steppenwolf, you know. They needed to distract the parademons, you know, like with the Batmobile and stuff, chase and stuff. So all of that was pretty epic. It's just like my brain kind of switched off at that moment. I was waiting to see Batman do more shit. But if I had have not ever seen the Joss Whedon version, I would have been like, oh shit, and Batman goes in the Batmobile and he's, you know, it would have played better. Like, oh, Batman really is doing something.
And okay, like it's kind of hard to shut your brain off what you saw in Josh's version, even though that was Zack's, but Josh did just changed up and did a lot of reshoots and all that stuff. It's kind of hard not to go back to that, because the narrative is always Zack's version is a completely different film, right? That's usually the narrative. And so you can't help but try to compare, okay, is this version better than the other one, right? Or what?
Can I ask you, what do you think? Do you think it is a completely different film? Because I feel like it is. And there's only one bit as I said, there's only one part that I prefer Joss Whedon's thing. It's like, it's not Joss Whedon's fault. It's just that he didn't know how Zack Snyder was planning to finish these scenes. But when you see Zack Snyder handle the same scenes and finish them, it's like they're given an extra oomph almost. And, you know, to a certain degree, I feel like maybe Josh Whedon was being respectful to Zack Snyder, because by taking out all of those scenes and shortening them and not giving away the money shots in those scenes, he was giving Zack Snyder the opportunity to one day do his film, to finish it. You know what I mean? Like, if I would have been pissed off if in Josh Whedon's whacker version of this movie, I had have seen Diana kneel down to that little girl and say, you know, hello, princess, you know, like, are you okay? And you can be anything you want. If that was spoilt in the Josh Whedon version, I would have been annoyed at that, you know, because it's such a whacker version and it wouldn't have had the impact it has in Zack Snyder's version. If do you know what? Do you understand? If Josh Whedon had jacked a bunch of Snyder's epic scenes, I would have been pissed off, like the Flash scene at the end, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see where you're going. I think it follows the same plot, but because it's the same movie as far as the plot, right? But the motivations are different. Because you see Steppenwolf's motivation, innocence. Joss is more so mother. I gotta get the mother boxes. I gotta do it. In Zack's version, it was okay. There's a reason why I'm down here getting these mother boxes. There's a reason why.
It's more epic.
Yeah, it's fleshed out. It's more epic, and the motivations are a lot clearer.
And it seems like to me that Josh Whedon cut out all the best scenes.
Mm-hmm. And also,
in a way that helps this movie, because if he had used some of the good scenes and then some of the you know, and then had some of his bad scenes, and it would have spoiled all of those good scenes in this version. So I kind of almost am grateful to Josh Whedon for just cutting off all of the good bits. Basically, he put he did the run up, the layups, you know, for the scenes, but he didn't throw the ball, like, right, like, so that it was just the layup without like putting it doing the thing that took it over the edge to make it like really epic. Like if you see the last action scene, for me, it's the Flash going into the Speed Force. That's the epicness.
And it also answers questions for BVS. Because, you know, we see that why is Flash jumping out of something and Bruce in his nightmare? It answers that question, right? Yeah. With the Speed Force with Flash, that makes Zack's version different. It kind of sets up another one. Another Justice League is also different. It also sets up other characters that I'm sure we'll get to later on. There's one in particular who is the Atom. It kind of sets up as well. I'm sure we'll get to that.
So I'm going to skip forward.
From what I've heard.
I'm going to skip forward to hopefully where he discusses something that we can finish off the video with.
Make $900 million. Okay. While Civil War made 1.1, laughing and shit.
Hey, Master, that's how.
Yeah, these are. Man of Steel is a good film, great film, but it's a trash Superman movie. I like Man of Steel. Yeah, Man of Steel is up here, and the other two are down here, bro. To compare freaking movie to Man of Steel, bro, is an insult.
It is.
It's a true insult, bro.
Man of Steel.
It's cohesive.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's a film.
Story,
it's linear.
Yeah.
Beginning, middle, end.
Whatever.
Solid villain. Zod, my nigga. He's still the GOAT in the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Zod is the best villain of the DCU. He's the best villain, bro. Darkseid. Hey, bro, how we feel about Darkseid, bro?
What Darkseid?
That Darkseid we saw, my nigga.
There was no Darkseid.
You know, the stupid Snyder cult fan said that's not Darkseid. That's Euxis.
Whoever freak that is. Didn't they call him?
That is one thing that actually really annoys me. I think he's wrong about this. I think actually Steppenwolf is a much better villain than Zod, personally. But one thing that annoys me is that, does this mean Zod could have beaten Steppenwolf?
I think so. I
So
think
what's the
because he's a
point of the
Kryptonian,
Justice
he can
League?
do because he can do everything Superman can do pretty much. So
Yeah.
I would say that Zod could be Steppenwolf.
So what's the point of? Do you know what I mean? Like, why would you get the team together for a weaker villain than a villain that is found in one solo movie? That's what I don't like about this OP Superman. You know, it's stupid. It's like, no wonder they want to turn him evil again, because they're like, well, he's so powerful. If he's there, you know, as a good guy, what are we going to do? You know, he can just take out everyone. And the team, you know, how are the team going to help against Darkseid, right? For instance, like Wonder Woman usually can fight Darkseid. You know, she's not going to win. She's going to get her shit pushed in, but she can fight like, you know, like if you look at Justice League War, like where she stabs him in the eye, you know, like she can, you know, she can do some shit, all of them. And Superman is not effective against Darkseid either. It's like they're much more equal as a team.
And that's why I wouldn't have brought Superman back. I would have brought him back in Justice League Part 2.
No, but I don't think bringing him back in Justice League Part 2 and making him super powerful helps either. I just think you need to have the team more equal. Like I get it, Superman's stronger, but you need to have the team more equal. And again, this is not a problem with the Snyder cut. This is a problem with both cuts of the movie. So I don't, you know, again, I don't really see it as, it's not. It's just like he's gassing up Justice League, like the Joss Whedon cut, as if there's some substantial difference. The only substantial difference for me in both movies is one is a much slicker, more better directed, better score, better action scenes movie, and it gets the characters really right by allowing them time to breathe. That's what Zack Snyder's version does.
Yep, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me see.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go on for you.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. And to bring him back, like the whole thing's been screwed up anyway. From BVS on, it's just all just screwed up, right? And what I probably would have, because if we say Wonder Woman was handling Steppenwolf in Joss's version, you don't need Superman, right?
I don't think you don't, because she if she's handling Steppenwolf quite well, you know, not like she's not like she's no. Like if she's handling Steppenwolf on a one-on-one basis quite well, but Steppenwolf is still overpowering her, right? He's still like really powerful. He's overpowering her. And then, but she can handle him quite well using her warrior skills. Then you can just throw in the parademons against her as well, and that's what leads her to, you know, be overrun. Like she can handle him a little bit, like when they're one-on-one fighting. But if the parademons are also, you know, rushing to, you know, like helping him, that's when she gets overpowered. And then Superman comes in, and Steppenwolf should be as strong, if not stronger than Superman. But with the combined force of Wonder Woman and Superman, that's when you get the, that's when you get them being able to beat Steppenwolf together. So Superman, Wonder Woman, they're the ones who are like taking it to Steppenwolf together in tandem, rather than Steppenwolf is just like way weaker than Superman. Do you see what I mean? Because he's still from Darkseid. He's from Apocalypse, right? So there's no reason why he can't be like very, very powerful, where like even Superman would struggle with him on a solo level. And that would mean like, oh shit, Wonder Woman and Superman needed to tag team this guy just to beat him. So what the fuck is Darkseid gonna do to these guys?
Yeah.
So then it's a danger for all the team, not just Superman is basically the only one who can fight Darkseid. Because that's boring. That's boring. Like you want the team, like the Flash being able to do something, the Wonder Woman being able to do her thing, Aquaman, but like Darkseid is that boss that he's just, taking all of them out. But if they can't take on Steppenwolf collectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then when Darkseid comes here, and and there's not even a point even them trying to fight Darkseid. Do you know what I mean? Like even the attempt would be just stupid and suicidal. You might as well just say, "Hey, Superman, go and take him on, and we'll just stand in the background."
Well, for me, and that's why I kind of agree with Joss not using the black suit, because the black suit has a purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose is to help Superman absorb energy from the sun so he can slowly regain his powers back. I would have probably had him come, if you're going to have him come back, don't have him OP.
Yeah.
Right? Have him slowly trying to regenerate his powers, maybe keep him with it. Well, in the comics, did he have the power to flight when he had the black suit?
Yeah, no, in the first one, he didn't have the power of flight, but I don't think it. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's like it's.
I just don't think it's necessary to power. To I see what you're saying, that he needs to regain his power when he gets the black, like when he comes back and he needs the black suit. But I just don't even think that's necessary. I think that's going to, you're going to, like, it's going too far into it. Basically, look at Justice League War.
Okay.
If you've ever seen that film, or look at, Justice League, there's a bunch of them, like, where the whole team fight, the whole team are able to fight against Doomsday. The whole team are able to fight against. I mean, even look at Batman v Superman. Wonder Woman was fighting against Doomsday, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was getting punched, knocked down. Yeah, Doomsday was definitely stronger than her. There's no doubt about it. But compared how she was fighting Doomsday to how she was fighting Steppenwolf, and it's just a whole different thing, like she was much, much more effective against Doomsday than Steppenwolf. Am I wrong or right about that? Or
I can agree with that. If you believe that Doomsday is more powerful than Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
See, the power scaling is all messed up, man. It's just
I think
who's more powerful,
scaling,
Doomsday or Steppenwolf? Because if Doomsday is able to kill Superman, you would assume that he's stronger than Steppenwolf.
Right. But Wonder Woman was more effective.
Exactly. He was more effective with
Doomsday.
So she should have been able to handle Steppenwolf for no problem.
Yeah, and Doomsday is basically Zod, right?
Yeah.
In this version.
Yeah.
So she should be able to give Zod a good fight. Like I just think they made a mistake. Like they wanted to gas Superman up to bring him back, and I understand that impulse because they shit on him in the last two movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they wanted to bring him back and make him like epic, and they did, but they did it at the expense of the whole Justice League. But again, That is a criticism of both movies, and that's not why. That's the criticism I do have against the Snyder Cut, but it's not to the Snyder Cut independently. It's the same thing with Josh, and yeah. So I just think it's a wash when it comes to that. But everything else in the Snyder Cut, I would say, is just a lot better. So let me just hear if we can get to
Wonder
the point.
Woman was strong. Wonder Woman 2017. Wonder Woman soloed Ares with Zeus's power.
Right.
That blew him up.
Right.
That same Ares wrecked Darkseid's sheep.
Right.
But in this movie, in Zack's Justice League, Wonder Woman can't even wreck Steppenwolf.
Well, there you go.
So
We agree.
is half of a dark side, as they say in this movie.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, shit is all amok, bro. It's all amok. Darkseid he blew 3 movies, Code, 1 trilogy, my nigga. He introduced us to an emo Superman. We still haven't seen his Clark Kent working for the Daily Planet yet. Still haven't got that private life. We've gotten a dead Robin, Dick Grayson, a dead Jason Todd, a dead Jimmy Olsen, trash Jesse Eisenberg, a Zod and Eisenberg baby Doomsday, the death of Superman, the revival of Superman, evil Superman, and we got Darkseid and Granny Goodness, and we got Calibec, Desaad in this motherfucker, bro. He's blowing everything. Manhunter.
He was going.
Future. He was going. 3 movies, 1 trilogy. Completely went through like 60 years of DC mythos, bro. Good job, Snyder. Your trilogy is trash, my dog. And it's trash.
And there's more because that whole setup was for more.
More, nigga. That's over with, bro.
No, I'm saying
the checks ain't never clearing, bro.
The way it's
He's going. You can't deny it. But like, I'll say this about that. I'm not judging this movie off where I want the universe to go. I'm judging off how entertaining it was as a movie.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot to criticize about how much of how much of the DC lore that Zack Snyder's using, and to me, the epilogue, if you cut that epilogue off, I mean just the Joker one, not the Lex Luthor. The Lex Luthor thing was fine, right? But if you cut that Joker epilogue off and forget about the nightmare reality and just talk about the movie, the main body of that movie, I think it's absolutely fucking great. Like, I really think it's a really good Justice League movie. Does it have problems? Is it perfect? No, but it's a really,
And one thing I've learned, especially with all these films, especially with comic book mythos, throw the comic knowledge out the window. Just throw it out the window, because everybody's gonna put their own spin on it, right? You look at it started with the Dark Knight trilogy, right? Nolan put his own spin on it. None of it was really comic book Batman per se. But I mean, besides Joker, to me, best DC villain we've seen. As far as DC. If you want to call him a villain. You go to Man of Steel, puts his own spin on it. And the emo Superman is a product of being raised by the incorrect versions of Martha and Paul Kent. Because if you did those parents the right way, you would have
we can't judge this movie off Man of Steel and BVS. We have to judge this movie off what it did with Superman, and what it did with Superman was fine. What did you want him to do? Come back from the dead and then just hang out in the Daily Planet as Clark Kent? You can't do that. In this movie, he was Clark Kent. You saw, like most of the superheroes, they essentially were their superhero counterparts for the most part. You didn't really see Arthur Curry. You saw Aquaman. You didn't really see Diana Prince. You saw Wonder Woman. You didn't really see, the only superhero where you really saw their civilian self, kind of, is maybe Bruce Wayne. But even that, he was mainly just doing Batman shit the whole of this movie. This was they were acting as their superhero counterparts for most of this movie. You didn't really get to feel. You got a few emotional beats with Barry Allen, with his dad in prison, but for the most part, he was just doing Flash shit. So I don't think it's a really fair thing to be like, oh, Superman wasn't in the Daily Planet doing shit in this movie. Yeah. I mean, why would he? Given the narrative of this movie, it doesn't make any sense. But he was a recognizable version of Superman to me, and Clark Kent, being on that farm with his parents, with his mother, with Lois Lane, being smiling and being optimistic, and So I see it like that. So I think this is a criticism of Snyder's whole movies. What he's doing here is he's criticizing Snyder for everything he's done, as opposed to what he did in this movie.
I can see that. And it's this Snyder mess up things. Yeah, but you also got to throw in the writers and stuff like that as well, because it was a collective of just shit that just didn't work, right? And like I said, as a film, just judging just off of this, I thought it was a great comic book film.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great comic book film. Now, if you want to throw logic into it, hey, you can't do it, because you're really going to be just explode. But comic book wise, just like something you flipping pages and see these panels. That's what this movie was to me, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and that's another thing that Snyder does well. Say what you want to say about Man of Steel and BVS. Those were like comic books come to life. It wasn't like the Marvel movies, where it's really just like bringing the comic book characters into a movie, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're like action movies just starring comic book characters. Zack Snyder actually brings the feeling of reading a comic book to the screen, to life. And that's a big difference. I'll say that as even about Batman v Superman. I felt like you could take each one of the images from that and feel like you're reading like an Elseworld Batman v Superman comic, right?
Yeah, and that's what I always say in a lot of comments. It's an Elseworld story. I can let a lot of stuff go. Like, it's an Elseworld story. Do what you want with it. Do what you want. It's Elseworld.
All right,
it's
but
like
here's the thing about this one. Take the killing out of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Take the killing out of this movie. This could be not an Elseworld. This could be a straight up Justice League story.
Yeah, it's almost like you just replacing it with the, if you do a theatrical cut of, you're just replacing it with what Joss did.
No. Yeah. But look, you know how you were saying like Man of Steel is like an Elseworld Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Batman v Superman is like an Elseworld Batman v Superman story.
Mm-hmm.
This Justice League, if you don't have them killing anybody, if they don't kill anyone in this movie, this could be your standard Justice League story in the main continuity of a comic, right? Like,
yeah, I do agree with that.
And honestly, I don't like it when they do this in the comics, but sometimes they do make Wonder Woman a lot weaker. Sometimes they do make Superman like way OP. So there are versions in the comics, a lot of versions where the Justice League have this stupid power scaling. So it's not like Zack Snyder invented Wonder Woman being treated disrespectfully. That happens in the comics a lot. Like there's certain writers who just don't get how powerful Wonder Woman is. There's certain writers who don't get how powerful the Flash is. So if you're saying, oh, did Zack Snyder just go against the comics? I don't think he did. I think he just took an interpretation that I don't prefer. I prefer when the Justice League are a little bit more equal. Yes, Superman's the most powerful, but he's not so OP that he can just hold Wonder Woman and Aquaman up without them being able to do anything and race around, like keep up with the Flash so easily. I don't like that version, but that is in the comics. That's you could call that comic accurate in some versions.
Yeah. And he took elements of each character, put them in a film, and like we said, made a comic book film. It was like you said, you take that in and out with the Joker and all that stuff. Please do away with all that. That was pointless to me. Mm-hmm. But if you take that out, take the killing out, I would probably take the Martha turn into Manhunter. I would keep the scene with Lois and Martha. But don't do the whole turn into Manhunt. I would just take that out.
Absolutely
don't do that.
Agree with
because I
you.
love that scene with Lois and Martha
come together. That was the first time Martha was being Martha.
Exactly, and I love that because she motivated Lois. Hey, get out there. You're not dead. You're still alive. If I
Yeah,
can push on, you can too. I'm old,
yeah,
you're young, and I'm doing it. You can do it. I love that. And
yeah. And
I
it
got a
was
little
just
emotional at that part. It
ruined.
was a great scene. But when she
Yeah,
walks out the door, turns into Manhunter, it just took it away from me. It just I didn't care anymore. Right?
yeah.
Get rid of that. Power
Get
scaling.
Martian Manhunter in the fight, mainly. But even that didn't matter. I don't. But just take that Martian Manhunter
Yeah,
changing. I thought that would ruin that scene completely for me.
exactly.
In my mind, that was Martha Kent. I don't care
Yeah,
what Zack Snyder says. Like that was Martha Kent to me.
yeah.
Uh, Absolutely unnecessary and didn't even make sense. Why is that what Martian Manhunter would be concerning himself with when the planet is under, you know,
Yeah, and
is,
he's nowhere to be seen after that until the end. And
yeah,
Bruce, yeah, I would do away with that scene too. I would get rid of that crap too. When
yeah.
Lawson flies down and Bruce walks out like, dude, the alien's coming down. You're sitting there like, what do you want? Like type of thing. Like what? Get rid of that.
I would change the dialogue a little bit. I would have changed the dialogue a little bit, like,
Mm,
and make it better, like, explain why he hasn't been there, kind of thing.
yeah. And
Or maybe
maybe
he was the one who was giving Bruce Wayne the visions, because that never made
he
sense.
does he have telekinesis? Doesn't he have that power?
He has telepathy. What do
Telepathy,
you
okay.
mean? No.
Manhunter.
What do you mean? Why would telekinesis be
No, I
needed?
had it mixed up. Telepathy. I had it
Oh,
mixed
okay.
up.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
kind
he
of
could have
speaking to
been.
Bruce like as a telepath, stuff like that, speaking to him. Yeah, I can see that.
I don't like General Swanwick as Martian Manhunter. Period. I don't think. I think Martian Manhunter should be a younger, fitter, blacker. Sorry, not to be rude about Harry Lennox. Like, he's a great actor. He is black, and I don't, I don't want to be mean about that, but I do find that a lot of these characters who are usually quite like black.
Mm-hmm.
Are often made lighter skinned,
Yeah.
And I don't like that. Like, let's have a proper, if he's a black, in his civilian guise, Martian man, I want to see. I don't want to lay on my sword with that one because Harry Lennox is a brother. I like him. He's cool and everything.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, but he's just too. Do you know what I mean? Like, the Justice League are supposed to be the young, perfect, looking, whatever versions of these heroes, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're the team that, in a way, it's hard for me to. They're supposed to represent almost like the gods or something, right? Like, and that's why I've always, even though I like Cyborg in this movie, I've always thought Cyborg doesn't fit. I don't like that the only black guy is like a Frankenstein monstrous thing where you've got all these great looking godly, and Ray Fisher's a good looking bloke, so it's nothing against him. He's a pretty boy, yeah. But nonetheless, like, as I said, that they all seem larger than life, godly, something that we look up to, aspire to be, and then you've got this Frankenstein monster. So I don't like Cyborg on the team, but this movie, and this is one of the greatest things this movie did, because this is a complete, great trick. Zack Snyder made me feel like, okay, I understand why Cyborg's on the team. I get it.
Yeah,
He
like I
made me
said,
feel like, but just to finish, and then I'll let you go. But Martian Manhunter, that's why I want him to be like the younger, like maybe a little bit older than the rest of the Justice League, maybe 40s, mid 40s or something like that. Good looking black guy, and then he can turn green or whatever, so that he fits in with that image of the team. What do you think about that?
I like that. What do you think about the general maybe being Lois's dad instead of Martian Manhunter?
General Swanwick.
Yeah.
How would you be Lois?
I mean, change the character to General Lane. Make him Lois' dad.
Oh yeah, that could have worked. That also could have
That's
worked,
probably what I would have done.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
But let's go back to the thing, just to like put a kind of button on this. So, what is it? Let's go into what he's saying again, because I want to hear.
You know why he's not going to get a Justice League 2 or 3? Because now you have to actually make it from the ground up. You're not getting $150 million, $200 million to make that guy.
Whatever.
For no HBO
All I'm saying is it's
set
up for more.
yes. But it's over.
He's funny. I do.
Warner Brothers hates him. They want
Whether
him
he's
gone.
getting more or not, he's relevant. I don't want more. I've seen it.
I'm done.
I've seen the
done.
BVS trash.
Done.
Justice League. I'm not interested.
Done.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, but
Christopher Nolan.
Narratively, to me, BVS makes more sense than this movie. This narrative.
That's blasphemy, bro.
I don't agree with that at all.
Action is there, but
that's straight up blasphemy. It doesn't even make sense.
I can follow
the
BVS.
The Ultimate Edition.
Well,
yes, it does. It makes more sense. Yes.
I can follow BVS.
It's not better though. It's not better.
Yeah, it's not a better movie, but I can follow.
Okay,
yeah.
This is better than BVS.
Why?
Hey,
yes, it is.
A lot of people are saying this is better than Man of Steel too.
No. That's crazy.
Hey, bro, you know what they
Can't
say?
convince me of that.
The Snyder cult. I mean, the Snyder Cut fans are separate from the cult. The Snyder cult or the toxic, evil, trash fandom that is the toxic side that definitely exists in Snyder's fandom that Snyder himself encourages, bro. He encourages the shit. So they suck and they believe that all 3 of his films are masterpieces. That's what they're going around saying. All 3. BVS is a masterpiece. The same people that are saying Justice League is a masterpiece are the same people that said BVS is a masterpiece and Man of Steel is a masterpiece.
They are.
Zack Snyder versions of film, you're probably gonna have a big problem.
I don't want to hop on this too much. Do you think it's a masterpiece?
Oh hell no.
You don't?
I think it's a great comic book film, but as a masterpiece,
I think it's one of the greatest comic book films of all time. I really do. I'm not, and you've heard me. You know I don't like Man of Steel and I don't like BVS. I'm certainly not part of any Snyder cult, and I definitely don't want him doing that epilogue, stretching whatever the fuck that epilogue was with the Joker into 2 movies. I'm not interested at all. Zero interest. So in terms of restore the Snyderverse, nah. I'll have him direct another Justice League movie if he can deliver to them a good story that continues these characters where they are now. He's done a nice intro. Let's continue this from where they are now. Fuck going into the future, and build up to Darkseid. Don't just step straight into Darkseid now. Let's have them fight a couple of people where everyone can be useful on the team, not just Superman. Build up the power levels gradually of Wonder Woman and Aquaman, so it's not like a whiplash effect where, in this movie, Superman was the only one who could do anything, and then in the next movie, suddenly everyone's like fucking OP. You need to build that up gradually. Start with, Wonder Woman can fly now. Good. Okay, so Aquaman under the sea, he can do more shit than Superman can. I see. Okay, so and build that up gradually so it makes sense that when they fight Darkseid in future, that they can all contribute. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would do it. Put Zack Snyder on a little bit of a leash. Throw in Tower of Babel. That's what I think they should throw Zack Snyder Tower of Babel. I think he'd get such a big hard-on to do a movie where Batman defeats the Justice League. Technically defeats the Justice League. Do you know what I'm saying? In that story where the bad guys steal his plans, right?
Yeah.
To defeat the Justice League. If you suggested Zack Snyder, go with Chris Terrio, take this story, and adapt this from what you've done already, and make that your next movie, and we'll give you a budget for that if you come back with a decent story. Not just
I say let him do it. I say let him do copy and paste like he's really great with that. Like he did a Watchmen, like he did 300. Copy and paste,
copy and paste that story.
Okay.
I don't know if you've read it. Have you read it?
No, I've never read the Babel.
Yeah, it doesn't fit in with what's happening from this Justice League. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so you're talking about continue from this Justice League on to that. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So give them two more adventures like this, because I like all the characters now.
Mm-hmm.
Like this. I like this version of the characters. So give him a couple more. Give them a couple more adventures. Let him have time to really think about what he wants to do with that epilogue, because that epilogue is the scene that is most controversial. That's the one that is most divisive. Or do you don't agree? Like that Joker scene?
Oh, I mean, look,
the most divisive.
I don't like Jared Leto as Joker anyway.
Right.
I think he's too daggone. He's too handsome to play Joker, and he's just not as skilled to play Joker. Right. Mm-hmm. Now, if he was that guy that who's on was the HBO the Little Things, all the little things. Yeah. If he was that character, he probably would have done a little better. Not saying he would have been
great. He wasn't great in that either. No.
Yeah. But just that, playing with people's heads and stuff like that he did in all the little things.
Yeah.
Playing
I know, but it was still not fantastic.
It wasn't fantastic, but I think he would have been better off
doing something like that.
Taking something from that end and putting in the Joker.
The Joker, I only call it the Joker scene just to reference it, basically. Yeah. The Joker was terrible in that scene, but that was what pissed me off about that scene. I think the whole idea of doing a next movie where Superman is facing Batman again, where it's Superman versus Batman, where you literally, just to continue a conflict between Superman, Batman, and Joker, you kill off Harley Quinn and Wonder Woman and Lois Lane.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Like I said, I was totally against that scene. I was totally against it.
That to me is that is bad. That is a very bad message to be sending out. That just so the boys can duke it out, so they can fight. We're going to kill off 3 very popular characters in the comics. And Harley Quinn is a very popular film character now. Wonder Woman is a very popular film character now. I dare say that Harley Quinn and Wonder Woman are more popular than Ben Affleck's Batman and Henry Cavill's Superman. So I find it preposterous that they would kill them off like they're nothing, just so that they can get into another Batman v Superman movie as a sequel to this. You just had Batman v Superman before. I think he needs to rethink that whole fucking idea.
Yeah.
That's what pissed me off about it. I was like, the Joker's just stupid. I've had enough of Jared Leto's Joker. I didn't even blame him for Suicide Squad. So with the Suicide Squad, I did not blame him. I was like, that wasn't his fault. That was the way the movie was cut. This one was his fault.
Yeah.
The writing was bad, but it was also his performance was terrible. The look was, I don't know where that look comes from. What? It's the laziest design of the Joker I have ever seen in my life, period. It's worse than Adam. I prefer the Adam West Joker's look with the mustache, under the painting.
Yeah, I agree.
It was terrible.
And then you think about what he had planned to do after that, his story, what he wanted to do. Look, end it the way you ended it. Well, hell, fuck it. Get that scene out the way. That never happens. Get rid of the Martian Manhunter. Come down, talk to Bruce Wayne. Get rid of that. Right. End it with prior to that. Just take everything prior to that. Keep it, and then, like you said, do the Tower of Babel?
Yeah.
Story after that. You can do that because I'm not a fan of the whole Bruce and Lois Lane relationship thing and all that.
Yeah.
And then he wanted Superman's son to be the next Batman, and no.
Look, I don't want to. Look, I'm not here to, because I know like a lot of Snyder fans are interested in that storyline. They think that somehow Zack Snyder will be able to pull it off. This guy doesn't bat like, what's the thing? 0 for 0. No, he doesn't bat high. I don't know what the batting measure. What's a high batting measurement? Like 100%.
I have no idea.
In baseball, what's 100% batting measurement? Where you hit every time. Where you hit a home run every time. Basically, Zack Snyder doesn't hit a home run every time. So his batting average is not great. This is a good movie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend it's bad just because I've had problems with Zack Snyder before. It's a good fucking movie. Give the man credit where he deserves. But he also he has a lot of ideas. Some of them good, some of them bad. Right? And Man of Steel and BVS, bad. Sucker Punch, bad. Watchmen, good. Dawn of the Dead, good.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not hitting it out of the park every time. Don't take a huge swing and risk when you've just got these guys where I feel they need to be. This is where they need to be. And, I'll give the Lois and Batman thing a chance. I really would. After he's done a couple more movies. I could live with that as a compromise. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the Snyder fans really need to see that, let him do a couple more Justice League movies, build up to that dark side confrontation, and then he can do whatever the fuck he wants with the future world. That's the way I see it.
But I mean, I don't know. I think even if he does a couple of more films that are good, which I don't think WB's gonna let him do anything anyway. I think that bridge is burned. But but like you said, if hypothetically speaking, if he was able to do some more movies with WB involving DC, put him on a leash. You're right, put him on a leash. Like, hey, we gotta look over all this, even though they do, but it's. My thing was always let him handle visuals. Let somebody do the directing in the story.
He wouldn't do that.
I know he wouldn't do it. So
you've got to let him direct the movies.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. I mean, like it's almost like telling an artist you suck.
Yeah, basically.
So, I would understand him saying no. I want to direct. This is what I do. This is what I love. Right.
Yeah, and after seeing this movie, I don't think there's any reason. He's very collaborative. I don't think he's as stubborn, as people think, because clearly they told him to put humor in this movie. They told him to make it less dark, and he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And the darkness was never the problem I had with Zack Snyder movies. I didn't like the way he characterized the people. You can have Superman in a world that's more resembles the real world, but you don't have to make bring Superman down. To fit in that world, right? He should still be above that world morally and whatever. But anyway, like, forget about that. This movie is a compromise. Clearly, he was told to, like, put some humor, put some heart, put some, and he did it. So I think if you just say to him, look, here's a good storyline, Zach. Can go away for, let's go away for 6 months. Really, really come up with something, and tell us what you come up with, and then we'll see if we can do so. Because what I don't understand, it will be terrible, devastating for the DCEU to have directors like Patty Jenkins and Zack Snyder, end up at like Marvel or end up at a different studio or end up at Netflix or something like that. As if we can't deal with and especially if, imagine if Patty Jenkins and Zack Snyder now make really fucking fantastic movies for Marvel, right? And and then it will be like, oh, so it was DC and Warner Brothers. They just don't know how to handle their directors, and it means less good directors will be attracted to coming to work with DC.
Well,
that's how I'm thinking about it.
Well, Patty's already going to do what is a Star Wars Squadron movie.
Yeah.
So she's halfway over there.
Yeah, but she can come back.
She can come back, but because we know that they didn't want her to do the No Man's Land scene, right? We see that Wonder Woman 84, people may individually say, yeah, they love it, but as a collective, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Are they going to allow her to do what she wants? I'm not saying that she did everything she wanted in Wonder Woman 84, but if she were to,
I think she did.
Do you think WB would allow her to do what she wants to do in Wonder Woman 3?
I think they shouldn't. I think they should say, Patty, look, no offense or whatever, you did the movie like completely the way you wanted to do it, right? Let us give you some help. Let us set you up with a good, really like get her. It's the way you present things. When you don't want to say something, somebody like you've got. I teach kids, right? So
yeah,
when you know that there's a kid who's a smart kid, but he's done something shit, or he's got the wrong answer, right? You don't like just go, oh, tell them off or like go, oh, supervise them the whole time or like micromanage them. You encourage them to be their better selves. So the way I would say I would, approach something like Zack Snyder is like, wow, this movie is so good. Like keep on emphasizing how good this part of the Justice League is, right? Man, this is fantastic. The action you did in this is fantastic. This is really good. This is unifying people. The way you handled Superman here, that just keep on emphasizing the things you like about the movie he's done, and then say, look, Zach, we want to build up this universe a bit, have a little bit of time to get some solo movies in and all of that kind of stuff. And we don't want to just kill these characters off straight away. So can we hold off on your Nightmare thing, and you can do like try one more Justice League movie, just one more. We're not gonna put you a contract for 2. Try one more Justice League movie, but just go away and think of the idea. We'll give you a couple of comic runs that maybe you can think about doing that will fit your style, like Tower of Babel, and go off and just go off for 6 months with Chris Terrio and develop something for us, and then come back, see what he's done, and then if it's something nice, you can approve it. Same thing with Patty Jenkins. Just say, look, we really liked your Wonder Woman 1. It was like a really great movie. And Wonder Woman 84, we liked the spirit of what you wanted to do the character. Here's a couple of comic book runs that we think you might be interested in, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like just encourage them through what they did well, and try and not like people can pick up on what you like about what they've done without like having to just like shoot them down about the negatives that they've done.
But that's see, this is the thing, man. I don't think WB execs are that nice.
Too stupid to do that.
They're stupid. Like I think Hamada needs to go. I think it's because even if let's say Zach he did his Justice League, we're done. We can move on. Like that's the whole narrative now. We can finally move on. They're rebooting Superman with a black character, which I don't mind a Val Zod movie, but it's not time for that yet, right?
Yeah, it's definitely
they're bringing in an Hour Man.
Hour Man is fucking stupid. I'm sorry, Zack Snyder's plan is better. Like not
compared
his movies.
What they're doing, yes. I'd rather have Zack doing what he wants than seeing that crap.
Yeah, not the movies plans, not the individual movies like in the sense of this nightmare universe that he wants to put the DC in, but in terms of the plan of like get a Green Lantern Corps, get a Flash movie, get a Martian Manhunter, like all of those characters, get them movies from this Justice League movie. Now that you've introduced them, like spin off from there. Now you've got interest in the Martian Manhunter. Like, say what you want about the Martian Manhunter scenes or whatever. There are things not trending, but like, people talking about, I would like to see what this Martian Manhunter is about. So if they put a movie out, maybe you can, or a HBO Max series or something, there'll be interest in Martian Manhunter now. Now people have seen him and what he can do. Same with, the Flash now. I bet you the Flash movie is going to make $1 billion off this from what the Flash did in this movie. There's hype now for like, holy shit, this is what the Flash can do. There's hype for Wonder Woman again. Like, oh, this is the Wonder Woman we want. Now, I don't agree with people that like this murder of Wonder Woman is that great, but there's hype for a Wonder Woman 3 now, whereas the hype had died down. Like, I think Zack Snyder's plan is, in some ways, in terms of the tone of the movies, especially taking it a little bit more seriously, and in terms of, let's move towards Justice League 2. Let's develop this towards Justice League 2, 3, a grand epic Lord of the Rings style Justice League universe. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. You just have to craft it properly.
You're right. You have to craft it. You have to have a plan. What is your end goal, right? And I think WB's goal was they want the money. They seen what Marvel's doing. We want to do what they do, but they didn't follow steps the way they should have.
Zack Snyder has just catapulted them right to, like, do you know what I mean? More people are talking about this movie than Falcon and Winter Soldier, for instance. He's catapulted them forward. He's put them really, really on the map with this movie. There are flaws. There are problems. Patty Jenkins did a really good Wonder Woman movie. She put Wonder Woman on the map. I don't blame them for giving her free reign because of how much they've been criticized, for their previous movies, and they were criticized for Suicide Squad, and they were criticized for BVS for interfering, for not putting up the director's vision. So I understand why they might have been trepidatious in interfering with what Patty Jenkins did, but you have to approve a good script.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can't just fair enough. Once you've got them directing the film, don't come in and start telling them what to do. But you must approve a good, solid script before they start shooting, and some rules on like how they're presenting the characters because of where you want the universe to go in future. You have to have that. Don't just come in halfway through when they're directing and then like start meddling in their shit. Exactly. But that Wonder Woman 84 script should never have been approved. Never. They should have said, Patty, you know what? Go back and do some rewrites.
You know what? I'm really starting to think that because Zack's films, according to many people, are so dark, and that Patty's 84 was so light, they okayed it. I think they're really trying to get away from Zack and that darkness and go towards something lighter and more campy, and that's why they approved it.
Yeah, I know that's why they approved it, but that was what I was saying. That I always thought that was a stupid critique of Zack Snyder's movies. The problem wasn't they were too dark. It was that the storytelling was bad. The characters were not likable as well. Those were the two big things. Storytelling wasn't on point, and the characters were unlikable. In BVS, if you like Superman, I think there's something. Sorry, if you do, maybe I think there's something wrong with you. If you relate to that guy, I don't know what you're relating to. That people are talking about how he's more relatable in that movie. How? He doesn't say anything. He just walks around like being called a nerd and a goof, doesn't say anything back. Like when Perry White is just calling him out as a nerd and whatever, and then he's just taking it. He's like a punching bag in that movie. Do you know what I mean? Like the news is going after him. He's just like taking it. Batman says he doesn't like freaks dressed like clowns. He just stands there and doesn't say anything back. It's like I don't relate to that guy.
Yeah. Because real life, I might have to put some hands on you. When you sun me like that, I might have to like get back at you.
Yeah. I'm not gonna take that from you.
Like I don't even know you. Who are you? Like who are you to talk to me like that? And so it's like I said, it's everything starts from the top, right? I can't be a teacher unless I'm okay by someone above me to be a teacher, right? I can't do certain things without being okayed. And so, like I said, Man of Steel, people have the thing. I love the film, not as a Superman film, but I love it as a film. BVS.
But the characters aren't likable.
Yeah, the characters, I agree, the characters aren't likable, but
the action is good.
I just like.
The action's fantastic.
Yeah.
The characters are not likable. Pa Kent is not a likable dad. Superman is not a likable person. In BVS, it's even worse. I like that movie BVS. Funnily enough, as you might not get that from what I'm saying. I actually like the movie a lot, but Batman isn't a likable character. Superman isn't a likable character in that. Wonder Woman is. Wonder Woman's likable in that. She's got a plucky spirit, somebody that you can get behind. She when Bruce Wayne's like giving it to her, she's gobbing back off to him. She's not just taking it, know. And I think the same thing applies to Wonder Woman 84 in a weird way. Like you have to it's the storytelling and the lack of a character that is likable that really harms a lot of DC movies. All of the DC movies where I think they have a likable protagonist, whether it be Joker, Shazam, Wonder Woman 1, this Justice League movie, I think that is what makes those movies better. It just improves. Even Aquaman, like as much as I don't like the storytelling in that, Aquaman is a likable character, and that's why I think it was very successful. You could get behind him, even though I thought that the storytelling was a bit messy in that.
Yeah, I can see that.
So let's last little bit of what he has to say, and then we'll.
Bro, missed complete. Now they're saying restore the Snyder verse show. You guys are hypocrites. It was never about the Snyder cut. It was always about getting Zack a job again to take over the universe. Anybody who tells me restore the Snyderverse, bro, automatically I identify as cult, because that is not what the release of Snyder Cut movement was about, Jack. And it just goes to show me that you're here for a takeover. But since they have fulfilled release this cut, we can put this shit behind us. This cul-de-sac, non-canon, dark, gritty, Elseworld story. We can leave it in the past. And I'm looking very much forward to seeing Christina Hudson and Jeff Johns' script for Flashpoint to narratively wipe this thing away so we can move forward. Barbara and Andy, I'm looking forward because I've heard everything that they saying out their mouth sounds good to me. I am so looking forward to the future of the DC universe so we can put this toxic trash fandom behind us. I'm tired of looking at this image, bro. This shit gives me PTSD, my nigga. These non-heroic looking motherfuckers on this screen right here, bro. God dang. Final things to say before we give it a grade, bro.
Well, I didn't like. I mean, it was cool that Flash did his thing after everybody died real quickly.
That was fire.
was cool to look at,
but that was a narrative trash.
Right, they shouldn't. That should not have happened.
Yes.
I was like,
yes,
really?
Cop out.
You could just
MacGuffin.
You could have just all this time.
Plot device.
Like, you see all the shit that happened.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what was you waiting for?
He's like, this is my time. This your time. This your time. Yeah.
Wait for this one moment right
Special
here.
moment. Special moment.
Fuck, Superman died, homie. What the
My
fuck?
nigga, that explosion killed him.
Exactly.
That explosion killed
It
Superman
did.
and Batman and Cyborg.
Everybody. I was like, you was waiting for this moment. Anyway,
I don't get the criticism here.
Their blood and skin, homie.
Right.
What? Where was Steppenwolf at?
I don't know.
He died too. Anyway.
Everybody was dead. Everybody had to have been dead. That thing killed everybody.
So what was the plot? To kill yourself?
I don't know, man.
The
Look,
plot was to unite the boxes so everyone could die. Steppenwolf knows?
I don't know.
That is a good point.
I told you, narratively, this shit is garbage. I don't know anything.
But that's such, dude.
But
Like, clearly, I don't know what the fucking plan was after that. That's true. But that is true. I didn't even think about that. But like, I think the whole purpose of it was like, let's get Flash to. There was no other reason for Flash to be able to be motivated to, go past the speed of light. And they already teased that when he was resurrecting Superman, right? With the box had already dropped in the water, and he slightly kind of reversed time there, and like touched the box to like after he reversed time a little, like a tiny bit, he went and was able to touch the box and get Superman, resurrect Superman essentially. So that just scene there, I don't know what exactly was going on. He's right. Like, was it that the explosion was killing the whole planet? What was that? I didn't really
I
get
have no idea. And how was Flash able to know what was going on?
Well, if he sees a big fucking light coming towards him, he's probably thinking it's a bad thing that the Unity has done that. Maybe, it could have made sense that Darkseid was trying to wipe out all life on Earth and then come and make it another apocalypse. That does kind of narratively make sense, because he said that he's turned several worlds to dust, and and that way he could get the anti-life equation or whatever off Earth with nobody there to stop him. Yeah. So that kind of makes sense. So I can see that, and then that is the reason why Flash obviously needed to tap into the Speed Force, reverse time, and do his thing. I think that was a fire scene. I don't see. How are you going to criticize that? What's the criticism there? That Flash shouldn't have done that?
I mean, had he not done it, he would have died too. So, yeah. A lot of things, especially a lot of stories, things are put in place to further a plot, right? Whether you like it, whether you agree with it, they are put in place for that reason.
Yeah.
Going by, Darkseid, like you said,
something like Infinity War and Endgame. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, like you say, he's about to destroy the world. Oh shit! I need to go to the Speed Force. You hear him saying, "I got to break the rules. I got to break the rules." Right?
Yeah.
And if we're going by that logic that Earth was about to be destroyed, then yes, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, exactly.
To do that.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know what's happening really. He just knows that it looks bad. The Unity's happened, and he needs to reverse time so that he can get to Victor. He knows he's fucked up, basically. I thought it was very dramatic. I thought it was done really well. I thought the music was brilliant. I don't know how you can criticize that scene. I think that's a reach, bro. That's a super reach. Like, you're going to criticize the best scene in the movie for what? Like, just because... Like, that's the scene that showed why Flash is important to the team. I don't really. I'm baffled by that.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, that's one of the things that we have to ask Jody about that one. Like I said, Jody believes what he believes, and that's it. You know what I mean? And he backs it up. Whether you agree with it or
Well,
not, he backs it up. So I respect that.
I
But
respect
for me,
it. I don't.
yeah.
Go on.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like, hey, it made perfect sense. By that logic of Earth about to be destroyed, Justice League have failed pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh crap! Let me go tap to the Speed Force, right? And it also shows that he's done this multiple times. He knows
Did you
about
think
the
he'd
Speed
done
Force.
it multiple times? I thought he hadn't done it before. I thought
Well, because
he maybe instinctively knew that he could. Well, yeah, you're right about that.
yeah,
Actually, he
like
must
say
have
for him
done
to
something to know he
like for
could do
him
that
to
shit.
have, I have to break the rules. What rules are you breaking? What rules are you talking about? So he's tapping to the Speed Force. So he's done this before.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something happened that shouldn't have happened, and that's why he tries not to go so fast.
Yeah.
Maybe him going back before, which is why we probably should have had a Flash movie already. Maybe change something. It may be
Yeah,
change
like
something. Maybe
he
that's
did
why movie is that.
something. He did something before. They can't keep doing that with the Flash. That has to have consequences.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he reverses time by a few seconds, then fine. But if he's reversing like I heard in one of in the Flash movie, they were planning that he reversed time to save Iris West after she died.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's too much. You can't keep doing it. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this. That's like the Superman spinning the Earth backwards kind of thing. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
But in this context, it worked because it showed that he was saying, I have to break the rule.
Yeah.
But if you keep breaking the rule, then it ain't really a rule.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
you can't keep breaking it. Like I think the first time he did it when he touched the box with Superman, I don't think he realized he was doing it. I think he just did it instinctually. You know what I mean? Like, but that second time he tapped into it on purpose.
Yeah. And like you said, I have to break the rules. You have to break the rules. I have to go faster. I have to go faster. So he's done this before.
Mm-hmm.
We hadn't seen it, but I mean,
maybe
there's no
he
other,
did it by
reason
accident before. Maybe he did it by accident before, realized what he was doing, and then decided to stop. That's what I think must have happened. Like he must have run so fast one time that he was like, "Oh shit! If I keep on doing this, I'm going to distort time and fuck up reality." And then,
maybe it happened, early on when he says, he knows Gorilla Sign Language, right? Maybe it happened then when he fought Gorilla Grodd.
Oh, I don't think he's fought Gorilla Grodd yet. Do you think? I think that was just more a reference to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. See that I'm throwing something out there, right? Like, why would you say Gorilla Sign Language? What? Like, see, it's the problem is we should have had these solo films way before we did a Justice League movie.
Yeah, I still think it was asinine and arse backwards for them to do. There's no way you can justify. This movie is too long. This movie is too fucking long, and it's that simple. Couldn't have been released in cinemas. Let's not pretend. Definitely, that fucking epilogue is from hell and deserves to, be burnt in hell. Burn in hell where it belongs. It is trash, bro. The slow motion, a lot of that could have been taken out. Some of those little music video scenes could have been taken out. That Aquaman sniffing, this chick sniffing Aquaman's jumper, take that out, bro.
Exactly. And like I was saying, this was accumulation of 4 hours that was pretty much filmed, not including the other hour. So he said he had, right? So
he has another hour.
Yeah, and had this been cut down to the theatrical,
holy shit!
It should have been about 3 hours. It should have been a 3-hour movie, maybe. When you throw in, character development, all that stuff, you probably cut about 45 minutes out of what we saw.
I think you could easily cut 45 minutes out.
Yeah. You could have cut 45 minutes out.
There's a 3-hour and 15-minute movie in this. Epic. Really epic, where you could keep all the epic scenes all of, you could keep everything that is really, really strong about this movie, like Superman returning, Superman flying off, the Flashpoint move, the Wonder Woman action scene, the Wonder Woman leaning down to the little girl, all of the stuff with Aquaman under the sea, in Atlantis. You can keep all of that, and you can keep the whole cyborg bit, and still cut off, I think, a good 45 minutes of this movie. The Lois Lane, the Amazons, all of that could have been kept in. If you cut out fucking slow motion, cut out that epilogue, you at least 30 minutes. I think you could get a 3-hour, 30-minute movie.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
What do you think about them saying that this movie was dark and morose?
No, not completely. But I mean, when you have somebody like Steppenwolf come down, you got to throw some darkness in there. You have to. I don't want no bright color rainbows when Steppenwolf's coming down. I want to see that darkness come in. Right? Yeah. You have Batman who embraces dark and uses it as a weapon. You need it. You need that darkness there.
Yeah. But even Batman was a little bit more hopeful, but not in a cheesy way. In this, he was hopeful in a cheesy way in the last movie, but in this movie he was hopeful, but in a much more like he's come out of this really dark, sinister depression that he was in BVS, where he was basically an insane madman. He was the Punisher, basically. Yeah. And he came out of that in this, and he was a little bit more hopeful. And then the rest of the team, I don't see it. Aquaman was, he was like a beer drinking, save a guy, bring him to a bar and say the drinks are on him. He was a fun guy. He wasn't like a dark, depressive person. I think they could have cut that whole bit where he was walking into the sea out. Much to
that was for the ladies, man. That was all.
Yeah, no, I was going to say much to the chagrin of all the women watching, but I think you really could have cut that down to like, we all liked it, but like let's just cut it. Like, don't have him walking and drinking, and just cut it to the bit where the sea splashes over him and straight into, him swimming in Atlantis, and just get that bit tighter. So, but in general, I don't see the dark, morose. Like, Flash was happy, Cyborg was miserable. There's no doubt about it. But he's a fucking cyborg. Like,
I mean, look, he was a star
unnecessary.
Yeah, he was a star quarterback. Mom died in a car crash. His dad, up to a certain point, really was just not really around. So I mean, he had everything going for him. Then it's taken away from him. I'll be depressed too. Then I wake up looking half cyborg. I'll be depressed.
Yeah, I think he should. There's no reason Cyborg realistically should have been happy in this movie. Like, it didn't make any sense to the character for him to be happy with his origin. But like, that's not the same with BVS and Superman, A Man of Steel. I didn't see any reason why Clark Kent should be that depressed in those movies.
Yeah, he saved people. He's still frowning. I mean, that was just crazy.
Yeah, it's just like, you're like this godly being who can do all these good things for people. Why are you so fucking unhappy, bro? Like, you've got Lois Lane. You look like a Greek god.
Exactly.
There's no reason for this dude to be so unhappy. He didn't even have to fight for Lois Lane like in, the former movies. It was just like Lois Lane just had the hots for him straight away. She was down immediately. So it's just about, like, Wonder Woman wasn't morose in Justice League movie. She was smiling. She was like happy.
But like I said, these are dark times. I mean, you can't have everybody smiling around everywhere. Know what I mean? It's Steppenwolf's coming in to get mother boxes. The dark side wants to destroy the worlds all over the place. I don't need to see people smiling and laughing and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just,
No, but I understand that, and that's true as well. But that's not what the film factually didn't even do that. It wasn't like everyone was dark and depressed in this movie. They were genuinely quite joyful, unless the scene called for them to be depressed. Like, you're not going to have everyone. In fact, one of the scenes that did actually piss me off a little bit, where I was like, this is weird, is when Flash comes back to the Batcave after Victor Stone's dad has died, and he's like, oh, this is awesome. And I'm like, is that really what you'd say after your friend's dad just died? You know, like, I don't think that's appropriate, bro. Like, you should be a bit like, you know, trying to console him or whatever. But again, you know, that's just a nitpick. Like, I get why they did it, but like, it's a little bit of a nitpick. But in general, as I said, like, they were standing around, like, Wonder Woman was positive, she was optimistic. No, she wasn't smiling every single minute of the film, but she smiled with the kids. She was encouraging to Cyborg. You know, she was a warm, empathetic person, right? Superman was a warm, empathetic person in this movie. You know, with his mom, with Lois Lane. Cyborg, you know, even had a moment of like being really heroic and smiling when he gave the woman money to say, you know, I'm happy I did that for her. I think they were sad at the appropriate times. They were happy at the appropriate times. You know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that was the one big thing about this review that I wanted to, you know, talk about. So, is there anything else? There was another. I think we've kind of covered it, where he says that Wonder Woman 84, because I can't find it where it is on this particular stream, but he's like Wonder Woman 8. He says Wonder Woman 84 is more of a superhero movie, and Josh Whedon's version is more of a superhero movie than this version. That's the last thing I want to talk about.
I don't see Wonder Woman 84 as that. It was more of a romance to me than it was a superhero movie, right? Because you see the whole Steve Trevor Wonder Woman, Diana whole romance thing and all that stuff, and you have Pascal doing his thing, but I didn't see any superhero vibes about it, really. I mean, you could say, Diana saving what's her name in the park. That was kind of hero type of stuff.
I thought that was quite dark and it kind of it was kind of quite how would you say, like, tonally, like, I got tonal whiplash from that scene. Like, this guy's trying to rape Barbara. It's kind of weird, like, to have that in this kind of movie where this guy is blatantly trying to rape her out of nowhere. Where you've got all this fun stuff happening. It's all 80s and colorful and whatever, and suddenly you've got this rapist in this movie. I found that really weird, and like that she just leaves. She doesn't even take her home after she's been through that. She just beats up the guy and leaves. What's her name, Barbara, to go home by herself. It didn't seem very Wonder Woman.
He's still walking around.
Yeah. It didn't seem very Wonder Woman to me.
Yeah.
I didn't like her at all in that movie. Like, honestly, like, there was the only bit I liked is when she was crying and vulnerable. When she realized Steve had to leave, and I liked a bit of like that she was a bit, it humanized her a little bit when she basically was saying she didn't want to give Steve up. Like, they brought out that childlike, naive quality that I liked in the first movie when she was like, I don't want to give Steve up. But like, for the most part of the film, I just felt that she was rude in a way that Wonder Woman isn't usually. Like, a man would just be trying to say, oh, like, just even Steve Trevor was like just trying to say, "Hey, Diana, can I talk to you for a second?" And she's like, "Don't talk to me." It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, where's the, and what did you think about that? I'm going to compare it to a scene quickly with you before we go into what was more of a superhero movie. But what did you think about her attitude in the movie in Wonder Woman 84?
And if Jody ever watches, he'll probably crucify me for saying this. I thought Diana was kind of narrow-minded. You know what I mean? She was just, the heroic part where she gave up the love of her life, so she can get her powers back to save the world. That was heroic, yes. But the whole time it was a lot of people just selfish in that movie, man. It was just because you had Barbara, who was, which I understand, you were pretty much picked on and stuff like that, and nobody really looked at you as a beautiful woman. She had her
even though she's really hot, like
she's very attractive.
She's a very attractive woman. I don't know what maybe women in Hollywood must be like just beyond my imagination or something, because if she's not an attractive woman, I don't know, like Kristen Stewart isn't exactly a troll. Carry on with what you were saying.
Yeah, and Diana was, it's almost like Wonder Woman 84. It's like Diana had no mindset of her surroundings. Like it's like all this stuff going on, and you're just like, you're oblivious to a lot of stuff.
She was just lonely and, doesn't want anybody near her and standoffish. And, and I was going to say this to compare her attitude, like in the two movies. So there was this guy from the White House who was working at the White House with her in Wonder Woman 84.
Okay.
It was one of the scenes I hated the most in the whole film, where in the beginning of the film, he's trying to talk to her at a party and she just dismisses him, like completely dismisses him. Like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. You're not my friend. I'm not interested in ever, having anything to do with you. Then later on in the movie, she needs him to get into the White House. So she then is like, oh yeah, hey man, like, like one of those fake people. Right?
Yeah.
That you meet in real life, like where you're like, wait, you were a cunt to me like a few weeks ago. Now you want to like be my friend to like, I hated that, because that's the one thing about Wonder Woman is she never uses her sexuality to get ahead. In the comics, if she needs to get something done, she does it with her intelligence or she does it with her skill set as a warrior. She never ever uses her sexuality, uses her attractiveness. She's not like Catwoman, where Catwoman will seduce you and then stick her claws in you to get ahead. She's not like one of those characters. She'll always use, her intelligence, her wisdom, her strength, her combat. So I wanted to compare that scene or those couple of scenes to how she dealt with in Wonder Woman 1, when the Arabic guy was coming onto her.
Oh yeah.
That was so perfect. She dealt with it with dignity, with taste, with wit. He said, he was flirting with her or whatever, and she wasn't interested. And then she did this language battle with him. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and it was well done. And it
that
showed
made you
that
like her.
You don't have to be an asshole to turn somebody down, right? She kind of, it was like a battle of words with each other, and he's like, okay, fuck.
Yeah. I respect her.
Yeah.
She made him respect her. And I just felt like there was none of that wit in Wonder Woman 84 at all. And yeah, I don't find it super heroic pretty much at all for the most part of the movie. Apart from her flying, I got nothing like superheroic from that film at all. Maybe that she tried to talk the villain out of his plan rather than killing him or beating him up. I like that, but the way she did it was awful.
Yeah, even the fight with the cheetah, that was so lackluster. You know what I mean? It wasn't, in my opinion, a great movie at all. It wasn't at all.
It wasn't a good superhero movie. It wasn't a good movie.
Not at all. Not to me. No, not at all. Like I said, there were some points like we talked about, like the flight scene was very well done. Now, like I said, up until her trying to get ready to fly, I wish that would changed. But when she's in the air, she's flying around, beautiful, right? Her telling Trevor, "I don't want to give you up," but she knows she has to.
Yeah, that was nice.
And Trevor's just as much of a hero for saying, I have a chance to live again, even though it's in a weird way.
Yeah, he was more heroic.
Go back to dying so that you can go on, be who you're supposed to be.
He was more heroic than she was.
And the biggest thing, the hardest thing to do is let go of someone you love.
Yeah, and I like that, but it could.
And to me, Steve, that was a very heroic thing. Even in Wonder Woman 1, killing himself, to save people. You know what I mean? Steve, to me, was more heroic in Wonder Woman 1 and Wonder Woman 84 than Wonder Woman was in Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's no doubt about it. I mean, she was just as heroic as him in the first movie, but in the second movie, it's not even close. Like, I didn't get what she was saying at the end of the movie. I like that she was trying to talk her villain out of doing the villainous thing. That's not what I have a problem with. What I have a problem with is that she's telling these people of Earth, like, give up all your wishes, give up all your hopes and dreams. Like, if you wish that you could see, or when you're blind, or if you wish that this warlord would stop, this genocide in your country, give that up. It was just preposterous. I don't know how they didn't think of that, like the implications of what she's saying. So my kid is starving to death. My kid has leukemia. My kid has, just give the wish up. It's like, come on, bruh. Get a better ending than that. Like, but so let's move on to so we've discredited, obviously, that is nonsense, that Wonder Woman 84 is a better superhero movie than Zack Snyder's Snyder Cut. I think there's just much more heroics there. Everything from that scene of Cyborg trying to help that woman, get by giving her the money, was more heroic than anything in Wonder Woman 1984, even stuff that Steve Trevor did. You agree with that?
I don't know if I completely agree with that. Like I said, it's giving up the person you love for someone else's greater good that you don't know. That is a very selfless, heroic thing to do. Right? Now, don't get me wrong, what Cyborg did was very heroic as well. But to say that was more heroic than
Steve Trevor's sacrifice.
Say what?
Than Steve Trevor's sacrifice.
In second, I can't say.
No, I'm not talking about in the first Wonder Woman. I'm talking about Wonder Woman 84.
That's what I'm talking about. Because Steve Trevor sacrificed himself again.
Yeah.
So I think Wonder Woman sacrificed the love of her life. Steve Trevor sacrificed the love of his life and his own life.
I guess you could call it, as a text, if you wrote it down, that seems more heroic, because Cyborg he didn't have to, it didn't take anything away from him giving that woman the 100,000.
Yeah. Like say,
right? He didn't have to sacrifice anything to give.
Yeah, if he didn't do it, well, that's just another poor woman. If he did it, great. That's a very nice, beautiful thing to do. But and to Jody's point, I gotta agree with him on this. To sacrifice your life, to sacrifice your love for people in the world that you don't even know, that is selfless and heroic beyond measures.
That's true. All right. So, but the problem is that Wonder Woman 84, then she goes on and does things that are the opposite of heroism. So it brings it down, like by telling people, oh, you've wished for this thing, like you've wished for. It's just assuming that everyone's going to wish for a bad thing in the first place is very cynical.
Oh,
like
I
the
agree
truth
with that.
is the most beautiful. Like, all of that kind of stuff brought it down. So even with the sacrifice that happened, it kind of took it down to where it wasn't, And luckily, I think that Gal Gadot is so charming, and so is Chris Pine, that it didn't destroy the character, but it hurt the character a lot. But I think this Snyder cut has made the character, more compelling, and especially with the focus on the Amazons as well. Again, I think it's made her world more compelling. I would say still that, in spite of her giving up her love and whatever, that for the most part, this had more superheroics in it to me. Like,
okay, I agree with that.
Yeah. And then in the Snyder Cut versus the Joss Whedon cut, would you say which one? Just if we're talking about as a superhero movie, what would you?
As a superhero movie, I would probably have to give it to the Snyder.
Yeah,
as
me
a
too.
movie as a whole, but there are aspects in Joss's version that I thought was more well. Like I said, the only thing I can take away from Joss's version as far as heroism is that dynamic, right? Those conversations, those dialogues, right?
But that's not heroic. That's just the team
that's
dynamic.
not heroic. That's more of a team heroes to get together and let's do it. But as far as Snyder, I have to, as far as more of a superhero movie, I have to give it to Snyder.
Yeah, and like the superhero, the only thing I can say about Snyder, I mean, I don't know why he's doing it. He's doing it to himself, making them kill.
Yeah.
I don't see why he wants to die on that sword. No pun intended.
And like for a normal Joe like you and me, yeah, we'll probably kill those guys, right? But they're supposed to be the better of us. They're supposed to be better. So them killing is just, better than me.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly. That's the only thing. This movie would be near perfect. Take out that epilogue, and I'll sit through the slow motion. I'll sit through the music videos. I'll sit through some of the jokes that don't land. All of that, I'd sit through if you take out that epilogue and you take out the Justice League killing. And I would give this a 9 and a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, you take out the killing, get rid of epilogue. Those little nitpicks we had with the Manhunter stuff, get rid of that. I'll probably give it.
Yeah. The Manhunter. You know what? I'd even take that, even though I don't like it so much that it ruins the Martha Kent scene. I would take that only because I just think that's more a creative decision I don't like. Whereas I think the killing really hurts the movie, like completely hurts the movie.
Yeah.
From being a really good super heroic, like where you feel inspired and like, I just kept thinking like, when Wonder Woman was kneeling down next to that little girl, there's like, she's just looking at a guy with a pool of blood spilling out of his head, probably his brain and his neck snapped in some gruesome way, I just kept thinking back to that, and I'm like, what is wrong with this little girl? She's there smiling, saying she wants to be like her. Is she like a secret serial killer or so?
Exactly.
I just that to me didn't work at all. Whereas the the Martha thing, it was just a creative decision. I just think, it's not.
Yeah, I can get with that, and it is just for me. It took away the Lois Martha King relationship.
Yeah.
It just diminished that because, like, okay, well,
all right, I'll tell you what. Yeah, you're right. Take that out as well. Take that Martian Manhunter thing. I wouldn't. My point is that Martian Manhunter scene, if it was still there was no killing, and there was no epilogue, I would still give it 9.5. I wouldn't take a mark off for the Martian Manhunter reveal.
I would probably still give it a 9. I would give it a 9 out of 10 still. That would just be a nitpick.
Yeah.
So you would. Yeah.
So you would actually take a mark off, like 0.5% off, just for the Martian Manhunter reveal.
Yeah, like if that Martian Manhunter stuff and all that stuff wasn't in it, like we spoke about, it would be a 9.5 out of 10. But the Martian Manhunter
so it bothered you that much?
It would be a 9 out of 10. Because to me, the Martian Manhunter thing was just a little nitpick.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take a complete point, but I would just take, because if you keep it in, it takes away that relationship, like I'm saying, with Lois and Martha.
Yeah.
If that relationship is even needed in the film, right?
Yeah. And then what about the final scene with Martian Manhunter?
I would take that completely out.
Really? Why with that one?
Because maybe, like I said, for some reason I keep looking at it as a whole just slew of films, and I keep forgetting to look at it just as a film on its own. And I battle with that a lot. So if you're going to keep it in, I would have Bruce a little more antsy, right? He wouldn't be so, hey, what are you doing here? Hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? And it's not going to stand you just deal with parademons and Steppenwolf. That should be nothing, right? But at the same time, you just had a nightmare. This dude comes in, and I don't know.
You're right. That was added.
Yeah.
That was an added scene. That was a reshot. So basically, this is the problem, right, with this movie. All of the reshoots were bad.
Yeah.
Everything reshot was bad. Everything where Zack Snyder had free reign to do whatever he wants was bad.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. There's nobody who can tell me and convince me, unless Zack Snyder proves it to me himself, that the studio didn't make him do a lot of the stuff that's in this movie.
Now, we'll say
that like making Superman more heroic, making making some levity, some happiness, some joy. I feel like a lot of that came from the studio. I really do, because everything he shot afterwards. Think about this. Like every single creative decision, that Martian Manhunter wasn't in there before.
And I think it was supposed to be the Lanterns, because I think I remember him doing a Comic-Con or something. He was talking about the film that he was trying to do.
And that would have made
more sense. Some Lanterns coming down that Martian Manhunter, but studio didn't want him. Yeah, they didn't want Green Lanterns in the film, and they thought they were better as a standalone, like his own movie. So that's probably why he switched to Martian Manhunter.
They should have let him do it, because that scene would have made more sense. You've got some green alien that's coming to you, like versus a human being, albeit like with a green, energy around him. It makes more sense that he wouldn't be like, oh, this is weird. Like it would still be weird, you know what I mean? But like at least the guy looks like a human, right? Mm-hmm. Like rather than something completely alien that could be from the world of Steppenwolf or the world of Darkseid or something. But yeah, like in general though, those scenes really weren't needed, and I think he put it in there because he wants to drum up support and he wanted to put as much fan service in.
Yeah.
Like by having Joker in the last scene and by having Martian Manhunt, he wanted to really gas this film up, and it was already hype. He should have just been secure in the fact that the film was hype without those extra additions. They did nothing for me. I mean, they made me scared for him to direct another movie.
Yeah. Like I said, you have to put a leash on him. There has to be a leash on him. He has to be someone over his shoulder. I understand that would annoy me as if I was a director. And so I don't believe Zach would be cool with that. So I don't see him doing another Justice League movie under WB.
I don't think he has to have somebody over his shoulder. I just think they have to come to an agreement before he starts filming on just a little, little kind of things. Like, dude, most of what you did work. There's a few criticisms online, or there's a few criticisms of your movie that certain people don't like, and let's just get rid of them. Why fight the tide? You know, you've done so much good in this movie. Like 90% of it is good.
Yeah,
there's only like a 10% of stuff that people just aren't feeling like. So that's why I said I don't. As much as I think the Martian Manhunter scene undercuts Martha Kent, most people like that Martian Manhunter scene, unfortunately, because they're not DC aficionados like me and you. They don't know the source material as well, so it doesn't bother them that Martha was undercut in that scene. For most people, so that's why okay, fine, have your Martian Manhunter scenes in there. I don't care. At least it sets up that Martian Manhunter exists in this universe, and that we can move forward with some Martian Manhunter stuff. So that's cool. So I allow that. The thing that has universally been most brought up as a negative of this movie is that epilogue with the Joker. Some people like it, a lot of people like it, a lot of people. It's that 50-50 thing that Zack Snyder usually falls into. That is the only scene that I've seen a 50-50 split on in this movie.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So yeah, man. Anyway, this was an interesting discussion. Thank you so much. For is there anything else you wanted to say just before?
Just some little things like it's a little too late to say what WB should have done before because they're rebooting, doing whatever they want to do now. But all I can say is if I can go into the Speed Force and change everything, I would have probably started out with a Wonder Woman 1. I would keep Man of Steel, but do a Man of Steel 2 to fix the problems they did with Man of Steel 1. Probably have Martian Manhunter help Clark in some way, shape, or form in Man of Steel.
Maybe in Man of Steel 2, I think.
Man of Steel 2, maybe.
Or as a post-credit for Man of Steel.
As any credit scene, say, hey, I'll be keeping watch over you. I'll keep an eye on you, something like that, right? So you got Martian Manhunter. He's connected in the universe. He's there. To me, BVS just screws everything up. BVS really just take that crap out. BVS doesn't exist. Just take it out, right?
Okay.
You can do a Batman film because Bruce Wayne is in the universe because you see little tidbits in him in Man of Steel. Of Wayne, Corporal Wayne, whatever. Satellites, I think, was in Man of Steel. So he's in the universe, right? It's so much. If they had done this right, it could have fixed so much. We wouldn't even have to deal with all this.
Yeah, no, it's true. But again, as bad as I think the past was, I think this film, take the epilogue out, it fixes everything.
Yeah.
Take the epilogue out and it fixes everything.
And plus, they're introducing Flashpoint anyway. And what I did love about... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, no more killing.
Yeah, no more killing.
unless it's a serious or just tell them do one movie without killing. Just that's what I'd say to him. Just do one movie where the Justice League don't kill. We'll see about the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do all the spectacular action you can do. Just don't have the Justice League kill or cripple anyone. Yeah, and do all the spectacular action you can do. That's what I would say for this second movie. And then in the third, we can rediscuss the killing. Yeah, just do it our way this time, and then we'll maybe do it your way next time. That's what I would say. Just as a compromise. We're giving you $200 million to do this film. You can at least do us that solid.
But I mean, I think
and then I think it fixes everything. Just wipe out that epilogue. Epilogue doesn't exist.
But man, I think WB's done with Snyder. I think Snyder's done with WB. I think the bridge has been burned. This was Snyder's F you to WB, like, see, if you let me do what I want to do, we will be in a better position kind of thing, right? And WB, they're moving on. They're doing their own.
They don't want to admit it. But they're losing a lot of money. I mean, it's so stupid. They're like Birds of Prey flopped. This guy is a flop machine. All of this Zatanna, Blue Beetle garbage that they're trying to put out, where I know that they're going to try and make it humorous and funny and like a Marvel movie. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. They need to stop it now. This plan with this movie, as I said, take away some of the bullshit, and you've got it. You've literally got it. I could not say that after Batman v Superman. I could not say that after Man of Steel. I can say that categorically after this movie. You've got something here with all of these characters. They're all likable. That's the best thing about this movie. He's made them really, really iconic, likable. You want to see what they do next. I couldn't say that after anything. So you just need some solo movies after this. Get a good Wonder Woman 3. Get a Superman movie going out of this. Get with the Batman. With this Batman, honestly, I'd just leave him in the Justice League, because you've got the Patterson Batman working in his own universe anyway, so you don't need two Batman franchises. Just leave this Batman for the Justice League, essentially, movies. And then fix Martian Manhunter, a Martian Manhunter movie from this, a Green Lantern movie. Just do some solo movies and give Zack time to come up with a sequel that actually doesn't completely kill off their universe, before it's even got going. Because I think the next time Zack puts I think the next Flash movie will make $1 billion if they don't mess it up now. If it's a good movie, it should make $1 billion off what Flash did in this movie. I think he's probably got a lot more fans of this movie.
I can believe that. I believe that.
Yeah. And I think Wonder Woman may have underperformed. The next Wonder Woman may have underperformed before this movie. I think after this movie, Wonder Woman's back on track. Superman, back on track. Everything's back on track with this movie. I really think it's fixed more than people realize. And that's why I don't understand why any DC fan... Again, there are scenes in this that any DC fan should have looked at and just been like emotional. Like, I could get like why people who hate DC might not like this movie, but people who say they like Superman and say they like DC, them coming out against this movie, I don't understand. That's sus to me. That's suspect.
Yeah, you're right. Like, this was such a great comic book movie, in my opinion, right? And I agree. Like, you take away those nitpicks we have, take away those epilogues and scenes just not needed. This is probably a 9.5 out of 10 movie, as far as a comic book film, right? And this can possibly show WB the stuff he said people probably won't like. They actually do like it if you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you do it right, they like it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I just don't. The WB is just in such a heap of trouble, man. I'm looking forward to Pattinson's Batman.
But that's it.
I'm looking forward to Black Adam. I hope he does him right.
Oh no,
I'm looking forward to Black Adam.
Sorry, that's no, I'm not. Shazam 2 and the Batman is all I'm looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to Black Adam because I think this guy, The Rock, or Dwayne Johnson, it's like, dude, you need to sort out the Shazam franchise, dude. You should be in that Shazam 2 movie. Stop fucking about like, oh, I need my own origin movie for Black Adam bullshit. He would like that Shazam movie. If it had Black Adam as the villain, which it should have done, that first one, then you would have been looking at a movie that would have grossed at least 800 million, just from The Rock being in it as Black Adam, because Black Adam is a big name in comics. The Rock is an even bigger name in movies. So that would have added, I think, at least 200 to 300 million onto, at the very least, onto that Shazam movie, just by having The Rock in it. You know, and it was good. It was one of those DC movies that you should want eyes on to show, you know, because not everyone's seen Shazam. Because they, you know, certain other movies that in the franchise may have put them off the DCEU, you know, so that not many people have seen it. And I don't mind him. He could have done his origin movie after Shazam. He comes to the present, right? And you find out a little bit about Kandak, a little bit about him being a slave, and then, you know, what happened to him a little bit from the Shazam movie, and then launch into a Black Adam movie after.
Okay.
Do you not think that would have made more sense?
Yeah, it would have made perfect sense, but I'm just biased because Black Adam's my third favorite DC character. So I'm very biased when it comes to that.
Yeah,
but I was biased about Shazam too, and I was not a huge fan of it. So,
of what?
Shazam.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Oh, I liked it. I was overhyped for it because, like I said, he is my favorite DC character, and Shazam. It kind of let me down a little bit.
Why?
Well, like I said, Zachary Levi, he didn't do it for me.
Oh, really?
He just didn't do it for me. I would have rather the guy that plays on Titans, that plays a Hawk. I thought he would have been a perfect Shazam.
Yeah, he would have been good, but like, I don't think Zachary Levi was bad.
It's just, I don't know. There's just something about him I just didn't like. Like everybody else is fine. But him, it was just in the suit and not. I'm not a fan of the New 52 suit. Like I'm more partial to the classic, you know, you get the little half cape over the shoulders kind of thing and all that stuff.
Yeah. But these are nitpicks, bro. I mean,
I
mean, in general, the movie was good. Like, I'm not trying to dismiss what you're saying, but like in general, the Shazam movie was pretty damn good. Like, yeah, I'm trying to think like I get that he acted a little bit differently from Billy, and he should have acted a bit more like Billy was acting. He acted a little bit like younger.
Yeah.
But in general, once you got used to that a little bit, it was fine, and it was very emotional. I thought, like the stuff with Billy and his mom, and you know the foster family. I thought that was all very well. It was like a nice little Christmas movie. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, it was basically Big in the comic book style. If Big was a superhero, that's what it would be.
Like if I personally had have done it, I would have made it more like Stranger Things. I would have made it more like The Goonies, Stranger Things, stuff like that. Because I don't think Big was ever that popular. you know, to be basing it off Big. You know, nobody.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, and I didn't like that the rest of the Foster family weren't more involved in the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
That I would have liked to see more of Mary, especially Mary, because she's so important to the Shazam universe. She's almost more important, Mary Marvel, right? Than Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
You know, it just struck me as rather tone deaf for them to take the two white boys, and make them the center, and all the rest of the kids. That Asian kid was really funny. He was really funny, the little Asian kid, for the little two scenes he had. I wanted to see more of him. The obviously Darla Dudley was she was one of the MVPs of the film, like the little black girl. They put her enough in it, I think. They didn't overdo her, you know, and expose her or anything like that in terms of her acting range. So she was just sweet, and she was like from the comics, Darla Dudley from the comics. So I was fine with her. But everyone else in that family could have had a little bit more to do. You know? So that's my main criticisms of the film. But I just think it's a pleasant film, and it just sets up nicely for the sequel. It's just the sequel has to be to put it up a notch now.
Yeah, you have to go up.
Yeah, and
I gave it a 7 out of 10. Right.
Yeah. 7.
Ooh, I gave it.
Harsh, bro.
I'm sorry. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Harsh, bro.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I'd give that a good solid 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
I can't give it.
What's your ranking? What's your ranking of Wonder Woman then?
Wonder Woman 1, I gave it 8 out of 10.